Hey y'all, welcome back. Today I'm going to be sharing with you another weekly recap of products I have worn, things I bought. This week was the Sephora Spring Savings Event, and here in Canada, Shoppers Drug Mart is having a bonus point redemption event. I have gotten some products. We're going to talk about that, share with you my thoughts and feelings on everything I've tried out. Let's just jump right into this video because there is a lot to cover. Now, I keep meaning to talk about nails, but I always forget. So here's my nails after 8 days. Some wear on the tips. I did a little bit of a messy job in my cuticles, look a little dry. Regular nail polish after 8 days. I adore the Essie Smooth E nail polish. I learned about this through a YouTube channel called The Salon Life. Her name is Anna. She used to have her nail salon here just outside of Toronto, but now she's in Spain. I love her channel. I've actually shared one of her videos on my community page before. I think she's wonderful, and she suggested this in a video, so I went out and bought it, and I've never looked back. So this is wonderful for smoothing out the nails to give your nails, even with regular polish, a gel-like smooth, shiny finish. I've tried almost all of the Essie top coats. My favorite that I go back to is the Essie Speed Setter top coat. It is going to be the purple packaging. This polish, especially when you wrap the free edge, meaning you take your polish and go just along the free edge, this seals your nails, dries them in about 1 minute, and you are good to go. As long as you keep your coats thin and let it dry between, this does really well. Now, if you're like me and you do them in a rush and you glob on one of your coats, it might shrink up a little bit, but in general, that only happens on days when I've really pushed it with my timing. I love this, and this is the 4th bottle I have purchased. It is so good. Now, in a few of my videos, I have listed down the color that I'm wearing on my nails, and I'll link 3 different colors. And I had someone DM me and ask, where are the 3 different colors? I was like, well, I layered because the colors didn't go as expected. A few weeks ago, my husband and I were walking through Shoppers Drug Mart when we got back to Toronto, and I was like, I want a nice pink for spring, but nothing too pink. I don't want anything too bright, too bold. I want something more of like a nude pink because I'm not gonna wear like a bright fuchsia nail polish. It's not in my comfort zone. So we looked through and he ended up saying, try this one out. And it looks like this. This is called Essie Air Spun Fun. The shade looks like that. Onto the nails, it takes on this very vibrant cotton candy pink, and I find it very, very overwhelming. I might just end up passing Air Spun Fun along to a friend who wears this type of color, because for me, with the way I've tried to layer it, I can't get it to the shade I like, and I feel like someone I know will enjoy it better. One I do really like, and a great pink, but it doesn't feel pink enough. Essie's Ballet Slippers, which is number 096. Very classic. This was a favorite of the late Queen Elizabeth. A very classic, neutral, slightly cool, semi-sheer muted pink. It's very pretty. It's very basic. If you want a nude pink that feels slightly white, give this a go. It's a nice one, and I find if you apply one thin layer and then float your second layer on a little bit thicker, this does really well. If you do 2 to 3 really thin coats, it can look a little streaky. You kind of need to have that one thin coat to create your base and then float over your second layer, which is a technique that we do a lot in nails with gel, but sometimes with standard polish, it helps to float that second layer on. Also from Essie is my favorite color, the one that I didn't think I would like, but I've ended up loving the most, and it works with everything. Essie's Vanity Fairest, number 120. Neutral, slightly warm peach. If we compare Essie Vanity Fairest to Essie Ballet Slippers, they look almost the same. Ballet Slippers is a little bit more pink, where Vanity Fairest is a little bit more peach. Vanity Fairest is a semi-sheer formula with a very subtle micro shimmer, which is just very smoothing and perfecting. It's kind of like having a clear gloss as just a clear gloss versus a clear gloss with a micro shimmer. That micro shimmer is going to smooth the appearance of whatever you put on top of it, make it look very plump and very juicy and smooth. I love it, and it does great over top of any polish that you want to tone down. I've got 2 products to mention as far as hair care. One is my dry shampoo. Today, I went out with my husband and some friends for lunch, and it was warm in Toronto. We got up to like 24 Celsius, which if I'm not mistaken is like upper 70s, low 80s Fahrenheit. I'm not completely sure, but it was very warm. I broke a sweat, and I was like, ooh, I need to do something with my hair before I record a video. My hair today is courtesy of dry shampoo, and oh my gosh, this just solidifies why I love this dry shampoo. Amika Perk Up Dry Shampoo. For me, this feels very much like a dry texture spray with a more moisturizing dry shampoo. So my hair still feels soft, moisturized, and conditioned, but it has that texture and hold. I spray it in, I let it set for about 5 to 10 minutes, and then I will massage through. After I massaged, I swept my hair into the direction I thought it felt good, and then I used my next favorite hair product, which is a repurchase. This is probably my 7th or 8th bottle of this I've been through the years. This is the Orbe Freestyle Working Hairspray. This is a lightweight, flexible hold hairspray. Your hair was not going to be bulletproof, but if you're someone who just gets flyaways or you want to hold a style but still be able to move it around, toss it around, the Orbe Working Hairspray is fabulous. Yes, it's Orbe. It's to be more on the premium side for a hairspray, but I've tried so many and I like this more than most other hairsprays I've tried. This week for sunscreen, I was pretty simple. For my face, I reached for 2 that I mentioned last week. First one is the Hero Cosmetics 4 Shield Sunscreen. This is a zinc oxide based sunscreen, so that is mineral, physical, or inorganic sunscreen filter. It's a lightweight tinted sunscreen. It has a subtle green cast. It looks like I'm about down to here in my bottle, and this is going to be, when I repurchase this will be about the 4th or 5th bottle I've repurchased. It is so good. And this week I haven't worn liquid foundation. I've been relying on powder foundation and concealer. For my overall tone perfection, what I have on today is my Dr. Sam's Flawless Gossamer Tint in Tint 01. This is a broad spectrum SPF 50 zinc oxide and titanium dioxide. So another dual mineral, physical, and organic sunscreen. Beautiful shade, very smooth. And I will say though, it's getting warmer and this does have a shea butter base for the formula, which is wonderful. It's very hydrating, it's very conditioning, it's very soothing for the skin. For me though, I find it a little too occlusive when it's in the dead of summer. I can wear this on days where I know I'm gonna be staying home in air conditioning, but if I'm gonna be outside, I might sweat. This is gonna feel very heavy and very occlusive, like I have a layer of saran wrap on my face, which is what I love about it in the cooler winter months when it's much drier. But I love this. If you are dry, give this a go. I think you will love it. For primers this week, I only reached for 1. I have just been using this in the center plane of my face, or the T-zone portion of my face, where I'm prone to oil, shine, and some enlarged pores, especially for the cheeks. That is the Tatcha Liquid Silk Canvas. The end of last week, I went through, checked batch codes, checked expiration dates, checked when I purchased products. This one I'm over halfway through, but this expires at the end of May. And this is expensive. This is Tatcha. I believe here in Canada, this is like $65. So that means I have over $30 worth of product left. I don't know if I can finish this off before it expires. And that's sad because this does have, it says it has a 6-month shelf life. I personally will push it out to about a year because that's what I'm comfortable with. If you're comfortable with keeping on with your, if you're someone who's a stickler for following your open labels, you can do it. This is in an airless pump. I'm a little bit more generous with it. If you're not familiar with it, it pumps out like a basic lotion. It's a milky pink texture. Some people feel like it gives a nice brightening property to the skin. For me, my skin tone, I don't really notice that. There's the Tatcha primer on, smooths out the skin, reflects light subtly. Here's without. Just looks it looks similar, but this one just looks polished. I enjoy it. I just don't enjoy it like I used to. And that was a very similar thing for the silk canvas. That was the Balm, the one that came out before this. Another product, really nice. I don't know. I like primers, but there's very few primers I enjoy using over and over. Last week in my roundup, I mentioned several primers that I really love, but for a standard foundation primer that I can use in the winter, summer, any time of year, whether I'm using a liquid, cream, or powder foundation, my 2 favorite primers you can find at the drugstore, and they're both from NYX. I adore the Plump Right Back Serum Primer. This is an electrolyte based primer that acts very similar to something like the Milk Hydro Grip. It is a hydrating, tacky base that I adore. And on a similar note, when I want something smoothing that I feel like dethroned the Tatcha Silk Canvas, NYX Marshmallow Primer. This is, again, it's a very smoothing base that just performs better. And both of these, if you buy both of these together, you are going to be getting 60 ml of product. And that will set you back for, I believe together, these will run you about $40. Meanwhile, this is somewhere in the 60s, and this is 30 grams. So grams to mil is a pretty even conversion. So we'll say 30 mil versus 60 mil. And for what, another $15, you can get 2 of each of these for a total of 4 primers that will get you through the entire entire year. Whereas if you use this one every day, this will get you about 3 months. So for me, this is nice. If you want to try it out, try a sample, I would say go for the NYX Marshmallow and save yourself some money. And something else I've noticed with this primer is, I don't know if it's because, once again, it's coming to the end of its lifespan, but it has a very strong synthetic floral note that really bothers my nose. So with this expiring soon, I am just gonna go ahead and purge it because it being allergy season and this bothering my nose, I don't wanna encourage more headaches than I already experienced during allergy season. So I feel safe just going ahead and letting this go since it's about to expire anyway. I'm not gonna stay on foundation too long because I just talked about this. The only foundation I used this week is the Laura Geller Baked Balance-n-Brighten, the Baked Balance-n-Brightening Powder Foundation, the shade Porcelain. This is just my favorite powder foundation. On the back of my hand, you won't really be able to see it, but there's a subtle swatch, and then it blends out into just sheer perfection. I have it today over top of my tinted sunscreen and a little bit of concealing I did. It's so reliable. If you want a glow, put it over top of a glowy base. If you want it to be more satin or matte, put it on top of a satin or matte base. This is adaptable. It gives you what you want. You can dial it up to be more medium to full, or you can use a fluffy brush like I do on most days for a sheer to light coverage. I love this. And for a powder foundation, yes, it's gonna be a little bit more pricey. I believe it retails for $50 US, which is not crazy, but compared to the drugstore range or even something like MAC, yes, this is more expensive. But for me, I feel like this is just a lot better value for your money, and I won't be without this. And if I could, I would give every single one of my friends who wear makeup this for their next birthday. It is that good. This week I've been playing with 2 concealers. Once again, when I saw my concealers that are getting ready to expire, I'm like, let me review them one more time, see what I think. That way I can throw these away. Now, these both expire at the end of this month, April. So after this video, I'm gonna go ahead and throw them away just because I've got my feelings. I know what I think about them, and I don't feel like I need to hang on to them any longer because I've got other things I need to work through. First one we'll talk about is this mini size of the Hourglass Vanish Airbrush Concealer in the shade Creme. This is nice. For me, every time I wear this, it reminds me of a wand doe foot version of a concealer I've known and loved for years. This gives you medium to full coverage with a naturally luminous finish. You can build it up to be more opaque to really create a more glamorous look, or you can sheer it out to create a skin-like veil of perfected coverage. I have this under my eyes and right through here. I even have a little bit in the middle of my face to brighten things up. It's beautiful, but for the cost of Hourglass, there's one I prefer a little bit better, and that is the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Concealer. I wear shade Creme in the Hourglass Vanish. In the Maybelline, I wear shade 110 Fair. I cannot tell you how many of these I've purchased over the years. Currently on social media, the brightening shade, which is the pink shade, is gaining popularity, but any of the shades that work for your skin tone, I say try it at least once. This is just a really great product, and a lot of people see the drugstore name and they turn their nose up at it. Try it. It's good. L'Oreal True Match Eye Cream and a Concealer with 0.5% pure hyaluronic acid in shade N1-2. This is a really lovely concealer. It's very nourishing. It's very lightweight. You can wear it under the eyes. I've used this in several videos on my channel, and I really like it. If you want a great no makeup concealer, this is wonderful. But for me, last year, this was replaced as far as my lightweight, easy, no makeup concealer. I have purchased, this is the third tube I have purchased. And for me, I feel like it's been dethroned by the NYX Bare With Me Serum Concealer. I wear shade light. It just makes things feel smoother. It locks. It doesn't feel quite as creamy and quite as hydrating as the L'Oreal True Match Eye Cream and Concealer. I would say if you were slightly dry to normal to oily, try this one. However, if you are more on the normal to dry side under your eyes, then try the L'Oreal. For me, this is so close to expiring. I know I won't be able to finish all this, so I'm gonna go ahead and part ways with this so I can continue using my NYX concealer. For highlighter this week, I reached for a favorite, Physicians Formula Butter Highlight. The full name is the Murumuru Butter Highlight in the shade Pearl. This is a beautiful cream to powder formula. When you put your finger in, it just feels nice and emollient. And then you blend, it has a soft, silky touch. Glides over the skin. You can wear it heavy or you can sheer it out. It doesn't accentuate texture. It doesn't show off pores, fine lines, anything that you wouldn't want to highlight and bring attention to. It doesn't. It's just really good. It comes in several shades. I have only ever tried shade Pearl because that works for me. Blush I used quite a few days this week is the Merit Blush Balm, and this is a new shade to the range called Stockholm. These are the little bubble blush cream formulas from Merit, which you can find at Sephora. Stockholm is one of their newest additions. It is a cool pink. There is Stockholm. This is a very slippy emollient formula, and it's really pretty when it first goes onto the cheeks. Like you can see, you get this really beautiful pink. But I find you have to be careful because you have to apply it to where you barely blend it, because if you continue to blend and spread, it disappears. Like, where'd it go? That disappearing act only continues. Today when I went out to lunch, I wore this under and over my Laura Geller powder foundation. And that's because wearing this alone on top of powder foundation, it disappears. So my thought process is if I apply it under, put my light layer powder foundation on, and then apply a little bit more, you can see it looked a little intense. It looked a little clownish when I walked to my car, because my little process for leaving the house, I will get in my car, fasten my seatbelt, then I will back out of my garage, close the garage. As I wait for the garage door to fully close, I will get my sunglasses out, and before I put my sunglasses on, I will check my rearview mirror, make sure my makeup looks fine. My blush had already toned down to a nice natural state about where it is right now. I do not have that blush on. I have a different blush on right now. When I had on this Merit, it was how I like my blush. It was a subtle pink shade. It took me about 35 minutes to get downtown because I live just outside of downtown Toronto and I was going to meet friends for lunch. When I got there, I took off my sunglasses, pulled down my visor, looked in the mirror just so I could press out any type of sunglasses mark. My blush was gone. I'm like, okay, great. It's a no blush day. Pretty when it goes on, it's sheer, but the color doesn't last. And for around $36, it's just not worth it. So for me, I would say these Merit blushes are a pass. Essence Pure Nude Baked Blush in the shade 03 Goldie Cassis. It's a beautiful dusty plum mauve with a light reflect. I use this blush in my deep dark winter makeup tutorial. I would say this blush for seasonal palettes would do really well for your deep and cool or true winters as a nice neutral blush. Where it's a more muted blush, it's gonna look very soft, very subtle on the skin. Or if you are a cool summer or a soft muted summer, this would be the perfect pop of color. Like when you want your cheeks to be one of the stars of the show for your makeup, a color like that would make you look stunning. However, if you have a deeper skin tone, this would be a great everyday nude blush. It is just so beautiful. So beautiful that, you know, when we get to what I bought this week, I've got two more to talk about, which are what I have on my cheeks today, and just beautiful. The best $4.99 you will spend this week. It is so good. If you are a winter, whether it is deep, cool, or bright, or a summer, whether that's summer light, summer cool, true, or soft muted summer, any cool toned seasonal palette would do well with this. This is from Maybelline City Mini Palette in shade 520 Skyscape Dusk. This is broken down into two trios. So you have trio number 1 and trio number 2. I've mixed together all these shades. So I have this on my lid, I have this one and this one mixed together in my socket, and then I have these 4 shades mixed together as an outer corner deepening shade, and then I use this shade as my upper liner. It's just a beautiful palette. I like to share it out a little bit, but if you use these undiluted, it does really well. I would say if you are fair to, I would say medium tan, this is a great cool tone palette at an affordable drugstore pricing. This is a really good drugstore formula that I don't hear many people talk about. It's good, safe buy at a drugstore price. I love it. Another drugstore favorite that I just can't get enough of is the e.l.f. Wow Brow in shade Neutral Brown. Since going blonde, my hair goes through different colors. After I tone it, I'm very cool, very ashy. I don't like to lift my hair too high because I don't want to fry it. So right now, my hair color is I'm about a level 9 blonde, and that is getting pretty close because the natural hair scale goes from a level 1 to a level 11, and I'm at 9. So I am 2 shades away from going super, super light. And when my toner fades out, I get a little bit more on the neutral, warm, I don't know, it feels kind of buttery blonde. My eyebrows, where they're microbladed, they're a little bit more cool, a little bit more ashy. So I use neutral brown to just give me a nice neutral color. That's what I have in my brows today. That's all I put in my brows now when I need to adjust the color. It's so good. And I've been through like 5 or 6 of these since this came out. One of the best drugstore makeup products I have ever found. This is something I purchased during the Sephora Fall Beauty Insider Sale. Huda Beauty. This is the Lip Contour 2.0 in shade Muted Pink. To me, this feels very reminiscent of Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk. So here we go. Huda Beauty Muted Pink and Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk. You can see they are so similar to each other. Muted Pink is a little bit more neutral leaning cool, where Pillow Talk is a little bit more neutral leaning warm. So that's the biggest difference. You can see, especially when I turn the hand just slightly, there's a little bit more blue in the Huda Beauty, where there's a little bit more of a warm orangey brown in the Charlotte Tilbury. On the lips, it doesn't make a big difference. My lips do pull slightly warmer than cool. I like to cool it down a little bit more with a slightly cool toned lip pencil. This is the L'Oreal Color Riche in the shade 135 Ballerina Shoes. This just, it screams like Y2K. It's a light pink. Look at that. It is like frosty metallic pink. I love it. I use it like a gloss. I have it on today in the center of my lips as a gloss alternative. I love this so much. Now to finish off talking about what's on the lips, let's go into the products I purchased this week. As my all over lip base, as I started doing my makeup, I applied Guerlain Kiss Kiss Bee Glow Lip Balm in the shade 258 Rose Glow. Looks like this. It looks very reminiscent in the package to the Dior Lip Glow Rose Glow. And I applied that pretty much like a balm because I do find this formula to be quite nourishing on the lips, and then I blot it down before I applied lip liner. Really enjoy this. It's pretty, and the packaging is nice and weighty. I don't know, when I'm gonna pay for luxury beauty, I want it to feel like luxury beauty. I want that nice weighty heftiness. Now, Sunday of last week, Bobbi Brown's Canadian website was having a 25% off site-wide sale, and there was a few Bobbi Brown products I wanted to purchase during the Sephora Beauty Insider Sale. When I saw I could get 25% off on Bobbi Brown's website versus 20 on the Sephora website, I was like, sure, let me place a Bobbi Brown order. So I purchased another one of her Luxe matte lipsticks, this time in the shade Nude Reality. There is Nude Reality. So a little bit more of a neutral, warm pink, but on my lips, it looks like my lip tone has just been evened out. It's like you found the underlying color, made it into one solid color. It is so good. Today, I have it as a base over the lip liner, this in the center, and then something we'll talk about next on top of this. I love this. And again, this is a really heavy packaging. So nice. I ordered this little set, which includes the vitamin-enriched eye base, the vitamin-enriched face base, and the extra lip tint in the shade Bare Pink. And I just wanted to try these base products out, so I figured why not try them in a kit, and this was $15, so why not? I ended up picking up one of these like mini lipsticks for a friend. Pot Rouge in the shade Pale Pink. That's something I want. That is on back stock, so it said it should be here in 1 to 2 weeks. When you spent over, I believe it said $85, you got the 25% off and a gift with purchase. So deluxe sample of the vitamin-rich face base and a full size of the crushed lip color. I don't know where the box is, but these were like a limited edition, and it's the like crushed lip balms that come in this like little packaging like this. It's a chubby bullet. This is what I have right here on the outer corner of my lip. Tiny bit of this goes a long way. It's very pink. I'll put it right here. It is like a sheer fuchsia pink. And I remember when this formula first came out, there was a shade called Honey that I was very interested in, but it said it was limited edition. I was like, I don't want to buy it. You know, I like it, and I love that I got one for free. So I also purchased a blush from Guerlain in the shade 06 Pink Me Up. Just like most Guerlain makeup, it has that really beautiful candied violet scent like the meteorite. So I'm gonna put the blush. This blush, I feel like, is made for bright winter, bright spring, or light summer. This is like the blush color of happiness. If you do have an issue with slightly stronger fragrance, I would hold off on this. There was one day I applied it to the tip of my nose and I'm like, wow, I can smell this. This is a little much. So be mindful, it does have quite a strong smell. No more withholding the goods. Let's talk about the two new shades I picked up from the Essence Pure Nude Baked Blush range. First one we're gonna look at is shade 01 Shimmering Rose. So I'm gonna put that right down here next to the Guerlain. This is like everything I wanted NARS Orgasm to be. A warm pink with shimmer. However, unlike the NARS Orgasm blush shade, it does not have a chunky glitter that is going to jump in all of your pores and just make everything stand out way more than you want it to. That's always been my experience with NARS Orgasm, so I have this. No longer feel the need to buy the NARS one. And it was $4.99. I just can't get over the $4.99 price tag. I think my favorite shade I purchased is shade 07 Cool Coral. In a way, it's very similar to Shimmery Rose, just a little bit cooler, and I feel like it's a little bit more of a sheen. I love both shades, and just for comparison, Goldie Cassis next to it. Essence Pure Nude Baked Blush in 01 Shimmery Rose, 07 Cool Coral, and 03 Goldie Cassis. Wonderful additions to my collection, and all three of these blushes together cost me less than half of what the One Girl On blush did. And if I have to choose one to buy again, I would go for the Essence, honestly. If my husband watches this, he's gonna kill me for that, but oopsie. I was having major like FOMO or fear of moving on from the Chanel LeBlanc blush. I tried to order it again up here, and the sales associate I was working with was like, okay, I can get it, I can ship it to you. And they're like, sorry, I can't. It's like sold out in the system. I don't need it. It's my sign. I don't need it. And then I saw a few of my YouTube friends post on their community pages. It was back in stock on the US site. And I'm like, well, I am going home in a few weeks to help with mom. And that would be a nice kind of surprise waiting on me when I got home. I bought it and I had it sent to my parents. I will get it in a few weeks when I go home. That blush color, I just couldn't stop thinking about it. It is so pretty, and now it's mine. Let's take a quick look at what I purchased at Sephora for the spring 2023 savings event or beauty insider event or VIB Rouge sale, whatever they're calling it this year. I mostly purchased backups, and I will say I only purchased 3 items. First one being my K18 Biomimetic Hair Science Leave-In Molecular Repair Hair Mask. I first used the mini size of this. I loved it. So then I bought the bottle I'm using now, which I'm just over 3/4 of the way through. Like last year, I started going blonde because, you know, I've got a lot of gray coming on the sides and I don't want to color my hair all over anymore. So I'm like, hey, let me go a little blonde while I grow out my natural gray. Yes, it helped with the blending process. It makes my like graying down here look less intense, but up here didn't feel that great. And especially with me doing my PRP treatments, doing my at-home laser treatments, and just everything I'm doing, whereas person lovingly said in a video that I just throw the entire kitchen sink at my hair, which yes, I do throw the entire kitchen sink at my hair, and I feel like it's working. I will continue to throw the kitchen sink at my hair. The K18, it's pricey. That's why I like to get it during sale. The bottle will last me from normally one sale to the next sale, plus a little bit longer. So for me, it's worth it, especially with the 20% off, because it's the only thing I've used that made my bleached hair feel like hair again. The Ordinary Buffet plus Copper Peptide 1% Multi-Technology Peptide Serum. This is a product I purchased after hearing Abby Young talked about this being a great alternative for vitamin C serum, and I've been using the vitamin C serum from Timeless for quite a while, but back in November when my skin just kind of went crazy, my barrier was all out of whack, I didn't know if vitamin C was one of the products contributing to that. I took it out, and back in late February, I added this into my routine as my active. So I use a hydrating toner or essence. Then I apply this. I apply my moisturizer. And then in the morning, I will apply sunscreen too. That is it. My skin just feels bright, bouncy, and just happy. This, for The Ordinary, is expensive. Here in Canada, I think it's $32 or $36. So we are not in the $10 Ordinary price range anymore, but it's a great product. My first fragrance from the brand Kayali. And I purchased a mini size Deja Vu White Flower 57. Now, a couple weeks ago, one of my girlfriends has a large discovery set of all of the Kayali fragrances. But she's like, here, smell them. She's like, I'm not overly impressed by the brand. See if you like them. And this one, and one I'm saving for the fall sale, I fell in love with. This is exactly what it says. It is a beautiful bouquet of white flowers with a vanillic base, and it smells like, I can't put my finger on if I smell a little bit of a soft oud scent or a little bit of sandalwood, because I feel like a lot of times white florals normally lend themselves better to the warmer like spring summer seasons. Thanks to that slightly heavier base, I feel like this is a great white floral you can wear any time of year. Fall, winter, this could be a day or evening scent, but spring, summer, save it for like, I would save it for like a date night with someone special. It's beautiful. And I got the smaller bottle because I didn't know if I would love it, but I've worn this 2 or 3 times since I got my order in from Sephora, and it's so good. The other one I love that I'm saving for the fall event is Sweet Diamond Pink Pepper. Oh my goodness. It is like Tom Ford Rose Prick, except way better price. It lasts better on my skin and has that slight sweetness that I love that cuts through that kind of plasticky feeling that the Tom Ford can have. I will add that to my collection in the next sale. I don't know if Shoppers Drug Mart was doing this to compete with Sephora, but this weekend Shoppers Drug Mart, which is a large drugstore we have here in Ontario, Canada, is doing a bonus point redemption. So much like most stores nowadays, they have a free retail point program to where if you spend money, you can get points that can be redeemed for dollars. But with me and my husband, we do a lot of shopping at the PC range of brands here in Toronto. So that's like Esso gas station, Loblaws grocery store, Shoppers Drug Mart. We'd go through there, and I also have the brand or the company credit card. So when I use my credit card, I earn points. And what me and my husband do is we just kind of use our different credit cards, and each one has like different points. Like this one, we'll use one for like food rewards, or like, and then we'll have one for like gas rewards or like shopping rewards. And then, you know, you pay them off at the end of the month and you get like the bonus points. So with Shoppers, since I use it for my my daily purchases where I get the maximum benefit and then paid off at the end of the month, I normally get a lot of points back. So when I looked at my statement earlier today, in the last month, I earned almost 200,000 points from all of the different events that I participated in. Even my grocery shopping, like my grocery shopping, I bought like mushrooms. Mushrooms, it was like you got like, I think 5,000 points per dollar of mushrooms or something like that. So like there I earned almost like $15 in points for just like 2 like little packs of mushrooms I got on sale, which thank you, that every point counts. So they had a big offer this weekend, and the maximum value to really maximize your dollar was if you spent $300, you could redeem for 200,000 points. I picked up $300 worth of merchandise and I got it for 200,000 points, which is roughly $200. That means I saved $100. And since my transaction was covered by points, I only had to pay this tax. So my grand total for the products that I got here is $50. I picked up a replacement of my Rogaine foam for men. With my PRP, I do use the 5% foam. This is the highest I can get here in Canada over the counter. And I feel like it just keeps my hair going the direction I want it to between my PRP appointments. And I've not had any issues with it. I like it. This is gonna be the 4th pack of 3 I've gone through in the last several years. I find it's a worthwhile investment. It's expensive. This was on sale for $130, and I believe full price in Canada, it's $160 or $166 for 3 bottles at 60 grams a piece. I also purchased the Viviscal Gorgeous Growth Densifying Conditioner, and I've never tried anything from the brand, so I figured, hey, why not try it? I'm excited to see how this works. Bobbi Brown Skin Corrector Stick in the shade Light Bisque. I was watching some best of 2022 videos, and a YouTuber I really enjoy watching, Stephanie Marie, I'll link her channel down below. She was talking about this corrector stick, and the shade Bisque is one of her favorite products. And I really trust Stephanie Marie's recommendations in general, but I find for under eye concealing products and setting products, she is like one of the best, and some of my favorite products I found thanks to her. She talked about this in her best of 2022 video. I wanted it from the Bobbi Brown website. It was sold out, so I ordered it from Shoppers Drug Mart, and it's beautiful. Like, I have it under my eyes today with a little bit of these other 2 concealers, but I use this as a corrector, so that means I have 2 layers of cream under my eyes plus that powder, and I just feel like my eyes look nice and smooth, which I love. 10 out of 10 for this so far, and I find it doesn't crease or get weird throughout the day. A few weeks ago, my husband and I were walking through Hudson's Bay at the Eaton Center in downtown Toronto, and when I was there, I smelled this perfume from the brand Narciso Rodriguez, and this is from his Narciso range. I purchased the large size, which is 90 ml or 30 fluid ounces. Now, once again, I paid for the order with my points I accumulate during my everyday spending. So that means I paid for this with money I had earned back, like my point rewards. And this normally retails for, I think, $155 here in Canada. This reminds me of a more intense, more elevated version of a fragrance that lives in my bag through the summer, and that is from the brand by Rosie Jane, and this is called Rosie. I believe is a rose musk vanilla scent. This is actually the one I have on today because I went to go visit a friend who's a little bit more sensitive to fragrance. I just sprayed 1 mist of this like on this like central region of my chest before I got dressed and wore it under my clothing. That way it's there for me, but my clothing will muffle it so no one smells it. This is like a slightly more elevated, more extravagant version of that. In a similar vein to something like Philosophy Amazing Grace, this is a very gorgeous, soapy, floral scent. It is so so beautiful. It's just so good, and it goes really well with the fragrances I chose to wear this week. I didn't feel like wearing a lot of fragrance this week, so I rotated between 3 different perfumes and 1 body lotion. So we'll talk about the body lotion first. Bath & Body Works Butterfly. Butterfly has notes of raspberry nectar, iris petals, and airy vanilla. Fruity, powdery, vanillic scent. It is sweet and powdery, but not too much. If you want to smell like a cupcake, but you don't want to smell like a cupcake, like if you want to smell like someone is baking cupcakes across the street with their windows slightly ajar, and you can kind of smell the icing melting on the cake, that's what you're gonna get. It's not a strong, overpowering scent, and once you apply it to the skin, the iris takes over, which iris or orris root takes over, and you get that kind of skin-like powdery scent. So this becomes on the skin once it dries down. Give it about 15 minutes, it becomes barely there powdery scent. And I had a few days where this is all I wore to bed, is like a scent. So I would put this on before I put my pajamas on, like a soft nothing. It was very, very pleasant. This week for my perfumes, I kept it very simple. It has been warm here, and if I think about going outside, I'm just like, ooh, it's toasty. So I kept my fragrances quite light, quite airy. The first one was my scent that lived in my bag, the one I wore today, which is Rosie by Rosie Jane. Rose Vanilla Musk perfume. More subtle bubble bath scent. So think about if you just took a bath with a rose scented body wash and toweled yourself off with a warm towel. That's what this smells like. It's very much a rose musk perfume for people who don't like rose and musk. It's a barely there scent that I feel like would be hard to find offensive for most people. When I want to have a little bit more of a rosy punch, Guerlain's Aqua Allegoria range. And this is the Forte Rosa Rosa. This is beautiful. A fresh rose dipped in honey. It's not a stuffy rose, it's not a jammy rose. It's slightly sweet, but it's not too sweet, because there are some rose scents or rose perfumes that it can't make up their minds. They either want to be very heavy, very dated, very mature, like they just found in the back of a library. Then there's the other ones that are very jammy and very sweet that feel like they're appealing to like 12-year-olds who want to smell like candy, but make it more classy and add some rose to it. This is neither of those. A slightly sweet rose that feels realistic. A rose garden in summer with a beach in the background. It's just so fresh. When I smell this, I feel like if you were taking a stroll through maybe like Grasse or Provence and you walked past a rose garden and the window's blowing in your direction, and say it's like late July, early August, and there's that warm breeze, and maybe there's a pond or a lake nearby, and you're getting a little bit of that aquatic factor in the breeze going through, and you just have that mix of like that kind of ozonic scent, the slightly aquatic scent with that warm rosy scent. It is just the perfect blend, and it lasts all day. So good. If I can say something, come a little bit closer. I ordered this online a few weeks ago because the bottle was pretty. That's all. Valentino Donna. I love the rock studs. Like, the boots kill my feet. Like, I can make it about 3 hours in them and then we're done. Like, no, let's call the Uber and have them meet me at the door, because I cannot make it another block down the street in these shoes. And I don't take my shoes off. It's like, we need someone here now or else I can't get home. My heart will not go on. The rock studs on the bottle, beautiful. Valentino Donna is a slightly fruity, slightly floral, slightly sweet. It's definitely leaning on that feminine side. Like, whenever my husband describes fragrances, he always creates these like character profiles that are associated with like what they do. And if I had to put a character profile with this, let's call her Michelle. She's like, I would say 30 to 35. She's going out on a casual Saturday. She's gonna wear a pink sweater with a slightly wider crochet knit and a white cropped flare pant and a pair of silver sandals with a matching bag and grayish tortoiseshell sunglasses. And I wore an outfit very similar to that the other day. Except my sweater doesn't have like an open knit, it's more of like a laser cut detail. I've worn it on here and it's blue, not pink, but similar effect. It's just happy. It's like, some people might find this offensive because it's not groundbreaking. It's not giving niche, couture, abstract. It is soft, it is pretty, and it is mass appealing. But it smells like, you know, you can find something like this at many different price points. Will I buy this again? Probably not. Does it smell great? Yes. Is the bottle beautiful? Yes. And I will keep it once it's empty, because it's like one of those things that you want to keep on your vanity and enjoy it. Thank you all so much for sticking around. I hope you're enjoying these weekly roundups. If you are, make sure you give this video a thumbs up and let me know what your scent of the day is, and if you've tried any of these products or there's anything you would like to try. I will be chatting with you all in the comments down below. Bye.